Drink Cinema! Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers reviewing movies 2 drinks at a time. Merry Christmas, Brett.
Hello, Lee.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you feeling festive?
Not after watching this.
Hey,
No,
the
it was
movie
all right.
is Elf that we are reviewing this month.
It was more festive than other Christmas ones I've watched.
And there are a couple of taglines from, according to IMDb.
Okay.
A comedy of elfish proportions. I don't know what that means.
Well, elvish, like in Lord of the Rings.
Discover your inner elf.
That makes more sense.
This holiday season.
Ooh.
Fucking woke bullshit.
Oh, fucking
God.
Gen
Sorry,
Zs.
everybody. I didn't say happy holidays. Oh. That's tongue-in-cheek. Total sarcasm if you didn't get that. This holiday season, discover your inner elf. This holiday, discover your inner elf.
Okay.
Because you could watch this movie and think it's a Hanukkah movie.
You could, actually, because of that one...
that one menorah in the background.
Yeah.
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 I am okay with happy holidays, right?
I'm fine with happy holidays.
Because not everybody celebrates Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot
The
of
only reason
people,
the people that are that don't celebrate Christmas are forced to have holidays at this time is because we're pushing our Christian beliefs on them.
well, even though 90% of the people that will share a meme this holiday season that says, it's Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, and that's how they all sound,
Uh-huh.
will
church.
not go to church.
Will not go to church.
On Christmas Day, Christmas Eve.
I won't go to church.
I won't go to church.
I went to church last week, but it was at a tourist attraction. It wasn't. I didn't go to church. I was just at a church on a Sunday.
Okay.
I will explain more about that in our next episode.
Okay.
That was so random.
So, yeah, I'm pro Happy Holidays,
Say whatever you.
but I don't get this holiday, discover your inner elf. It is a Christmas movie,
It's a Christmas movie,
right? It's not a holidays movie.
Yeah.
And there are holidays movies out there. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
4 holidays. Oh, that's 4 Christmases.
The Holiday.
That's it.
Kate Winslet, Jack Black,
Yeah.
Jude Law, and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Borat goes on holidays. That's not a holiday. Like a holy day holiday.
anyway,
We are reviewing the movie Elf.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
That's true. National Lampoon's.
Let's get on with it.
From what I've heard about Chevy Chase, he would not be happy if they renamed it National Lampoon's Holiday Vacation.
Well, anyway.
Cancelled.
Uh-huh.
We have a drink to celebrate the
do.
start
All
of
right.
the festive season.
Ready for an epic foul?
Okay. I did see you trying to pour golden syrup out of a cocktail measure.
Yep. So this has in it spiced rum, Cointreau, maple
Okay.
syrup / golden syrup. Syrup had to be involved.
Yep.
Cranberry juice and Sprite.
Okay, so the syrup has not
The
stirred.
syrup has settled. It's been sitting here for too long.
The syrup hasn't... Sorry, I was trying to organise our dinner. The syrup hasn't stirred, and so I feel like I'm
Anything
going to
could
have
happen.
to lick the syrup off the bottom of the straw.
Let's just
before
see
I
what
get
happens.
It.
Shall we?
Well, I'm just going to get a straw full of syrup. Cheers.
You're not, because the straw won't work. It's covered in syrup. Oh, but that tastes good, though.
Yeah. Could do with a little more... No, I think it's got the right amount of kick from the spiced rum.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what? So if you're watching at home,
It's got sweetness for sure.
if you made this at home and failed in the same way I have, you'll see that there's a large lump of maple / golden syrup at the bottom. So if you want it, what you want to do is you scoop that up with your spoon, right? Straw,
Yep.
and you eat that off the end of your straw.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
A la what you just saw me do on the YouTube. More gracefully, hopefully.
And it tastes like an alcoholic caramel topping from Macca's.
Oh, yeah, it does too.
And it also comes with a candy cane.
Yep. Which I'm not going to eat now. I'm going to save. Yeah. Okay.
Much like the movie Elf, this didn't quite turn out that great.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about it. The movie Elf. Apologies straight up to any Will Ferrell fans that are listening.
Mm-hmm.
We
God, I
are
hope we don't do many more of his movies.
we are not Will Ferrell fans per se.
That tastes good.
But it is an iconic Christmas film,
Yeah.
and it has a 20-year anniversary, so we are going to look at it.
Apparently, this is Will Ferrell's best movie, according to some.
Anchorman, according to me.
Yeah.
The titles
Austin Powers.
look dated.
They do.
Which is odd because it's only 20 years old.
Yeah, but I think it was meant to kind of look like old-timey Christmas movie.
Didn't know. There are some things in there that I'll mention later that look like old-timey Christmas movie, but I don't think the titles were meant to be that. They just look a bit dated now.
Okay.
The intro from the narrator, that's his dad,
Bob Newhart.
adopted dad,
Yeah.
is good.
Yes.
It's a little lazy in the storytelling,
But
but overall,
yeah.
this movie is a little lazy in the storytelling, I'm going to say. Okay. There are some funny jokes in there, and Will Ferrell does Will Ferrell very well in Elf version, I guess a G-rated Will Ferrell version. Mm-hmm. No human has ever set foot in Santa's workshop until 30 years ago, establishes problem number one.
Yes, it
All right?
does.
There's 4 main problems in this movie. 1, Buddy is different. 2, the Christmas spirit is low, which is a very common Christmas movie problem.
Yep.
If your Christmas movie involves Santa and not love, Christmas spirit being low is often a key part of the story. Problem number 3, Buddy finds out he's different. Problem number 4, Buddy's dad is on the naughty list. That's the minorest of the problem.
Problem number 5, Buddy's dad doesn't look like he's enjoying this role.
Problem 1.2, Buddy is different in both worlds
Yeah.
and feels like he doesn't fit. So in terms of writers creating problems, they have done that. It is not typical in the escalation of those problems.
Okay.
Those 4 problems kind of all run concurrently and dip in and out of the story as required.
Yep.
So the Christmas spirit is low isn't an issue for about 40 minutes in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
it is interesting.
the engine failed and Zoe Deschanel has to sing.
Yeah. And
Like-
sing the worst one.
Well, it's relevant.
He is coming to town.
He is already in town.
Yeah, that's true.
He's crash landed in town. We need to talk at the end about some things that they would change these days about the movie,
Yeah, one of my
Okay.
first questions.
which will come. I will come to that at the end.
Okay.
One of the early jokes that I liked is when the narrator Elf was
Bob
like,
Newhart.
"There's only 3 jobs available.
Yeah.
1, Elf. 2, cooking cookies in a tree and
Yes.
the tree burns down.
Yeah.
Making shoes for the cobbler, and then they have a bitch and moan about the cobbler not doing any work. That was funny. It was the only scene that didn't have Will Ferrell.
You know what? At the start, I was like, oh, this is funny. This could be good.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Then, from there, it's just Will Ferrell, which they do not shy away from in the promotion of the movie, let's be honest.
Well, it's a Will Ferrell movie.
He is
That's
the
like,
poster.
That's like saying... Yep.
But like you can, yes, we're Robin Williams fans, right? Stans, you could say. I wouldn't. Mrs. Doubtfire, vehicle,
Yes.
yes, but not so much like a Dead Poets or a Good Will Hunting or a On Our Hodo.
Yeah.
Not so much vehicle. It feels like everything that Will Ferrell top bills in is Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not the case with all of those types of people, is what I'm saying. It is the case next week. Oh, just forewarning you.
I don't get. That's just movies.
No, but sometimes you get movies that are not just a vehicle for a person.
Okay.
Like,
Good movies.
yeah. But like you get sometimes Jim Carrey, the movie is all about Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. Right?
Name me one when it isn't.
Batman Forever.
Oh, fuck off.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes a Robin Williams movie is a Robin Williams vehicle. Mrs. Doubtfire, Patch Adams.
Yeah.
Sometimes he is in amongst the movie, even though he is the lead.
Amongst?
Dead Poets Society, Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. But
Something like that.
They're different movies from what you would say is a typical Robin Williams performance.
Yeah. I don't think Will Ferrell has one that is not a Will Ferrell vehicle movie.
I was going to say Talladega Nights, but there are vehicles in that movie.
Lots of vehicles.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it is him.
Baby.
It is him, John C. Reilly. Really.
Him.
Like
John C. Reilly. Yeah,
a
okay.
lot of Will Ferrell
Yeah.
compared to John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
So we get that little opening monologue that explains the issue, and then we see that Buddy is different in too many scenes of him being different. Too many scenes of him being tall.
I
reckon.
said he's out of place thing got a bit old. Because, like you said, he's out of place in Elfland, the North Pole, Brett.
Yeah.
Because he's different. And then he goes into New York and he's different. So he's out of place again, but in a different way.
Yes.
So I was like, we get it. He doesn't belong.
Both of those establishing scenes that establish how different he is because of his height
Yep.
in the North Pole
Yeah.
go on too long. And then establishing in New York of how weird the city is to him.
Yep.
Too long. How different he is in the city. Too long.
Yes.
All of those go on too long. And that's why I think they've beaten a dead horse almost in making this the Will Ferrell vehicle.
Okay.
Because then that comes back to the four problems. While all that is happening, there is no space for any depth of story in The Christmas Spirit is Low or Dad's on the Naughty List.
No, because you don't really see him be that naughty.
Well,
Other than he's shit at his job and he's a bad dad.
He's
Okay,
just-
well, that's pretty naughty.
grumpy.
He's grumpy.
Like that puts him on the naughty list and he
Yeah.
ignores his son. But that's not like developed. Just like Mary Steenburgen goes, well, you don't fucking care about your son. And then 2 scenes later, he quits his job.
That went 0 to 100.
Because we spend so much time in the movie with Will Ferrell spinning in a revolving door.
Yes, he spins in a revolving door by himself, and then he
Or
spins in a
having
revolving door
the
with
world's
Zooey
best
Deschanel.
coffee.
Yeah,
Or taking flyers off random people on the street.
yeah, that was too much.
I did think it was funny when the flyer people told him to fuck off, though.
Yes,
Okay. So I am pro comedy, obviously,
yeah,
but the comedies that I am the proest are the ones that have depth of story, and this did not.
right.
If we think the Santa Claus, right?
Yeah, let me
Which-
go back. Yeah,
Tim Allen,
yeah.
Claus with an E.
I know the movie.
Okay.
I'm just, I know the general premise.
Don't bother with the Santa Clauses, which is out now on Disney Plus. If we think about that one, it's not just like we have one scene at the start where Tim Allen doesn't get on with his son, and then at the end he gets on with his son. They revisit that throughout the movie. That doesn't happen in this movie.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
yeah, good. I agree.
But they do some clever things in the North Pole in getting the elves to stand further away from the camera than Will Ferrell.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks good. It must have been a bitch to light.
Yeah.
to light it so that there's no shadow of Will Ferrell interfering with the people who are a few extra steps behind him, but those people are lit exactly the same. It doesn't always happen,
No.
but most of the time it does.
Yeah.
That's it. Really.
Like, it's very basic. Okay. Disclosure.
Yep.
I watched this on a train hungover. So maybe I didn't get the full experience, but it didn't pull me out of my hangover.
No.
I did not laugh after the intro.
Yep. I laughed at the intro.
A lot of it was stupid.
Yep.
There
Will
are some
Ferrell,
scenes that I was like, why do we need him doing that? What that scene with the raccoon was terrible.
Yeah, I get the idea
Yeah.
in that he thinks all animals are friendly because those little stop motion-y animals in the North Pole are friendly.
Yeah.
Right? And they are an almost direct rip-off of a Christmas classic movie.
Yes.
As is Frosty the Snowman.
I get it.
Yep.
And it wasn't just that it was stupid, it was that it was shot terribly as well. Sorry, Jon Favreau.
This is early Jon Favreau.
This is very early Jon Favreau.
Yep. This is not Iron Man Jon Favreau.
It's not Lone Ranger. Did he do that? Racist piece of junk.
God, I don't know.
And like I said, like James Caan just did not look like he wanted to be there at all.
Phone it in.
Like he was just like, I wasn't the first choice. I'm not going to give you my best effort.
If you're going to hire Mary Steenburgen, like she's someone.
She's
right?
a big deal. She's America's
She's got about
mother.
She's got about 6 lines. She's got about
waste.
4 scenes.
What a waste.
Absolute waste. Who also is just like, yeah, great, you've got a 30-year-old son.
Yeah.
Bring him home for Christmas.
She's
What?
I like Mary Steenburgen.
She's lovely. But surely you'd be like, I've been married to you for at least 15 years by the age of the son.
Yeah, she's clearly just with the kid, with him for the kid.
But she's got to ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Like, why did you not tell me you had a 30-year-old? Oh, maybe you didn't know.
Yeah, and she's like, that's great. I'm like, are you not going to, like,
Yeah.
question this at all? That's fine.
He finds his dad way too easily.
He does, and he knows his number.
Yeah.
Although, does he go to the police and go, call my dad, he works here? Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
They have phone
The
books back
deleted
then.
scene. They had to have that. That scene had to be deleted so that they could put more weird things that humans do.
Oh,
there's
yep.
there's 2 elements of this writer's room, I reckon.
Yeah.
There's one, how would a tall person go in a short person world? Jokes come.
Ha
Ha ha.
The door's too short.
We're all hilarious.
He's been alive for 30 years, but we
Right.
haven't built a bigger doorway yet.
We also, the other side of the writer's room is, what are things that humans do that are weird, but we don't realize they're weird until someone else does them?
Okay, yep.
Which is very cliche in movies.
Yep.
And that's like most of the time that Will Ferrell spends when he gets to New York. It's just like, this doesn't make sense that humans do this. Isn't that dumb and hilarious?
You know who we haven't spoken about yet, which is interesting because she is in a fair bit of the movie.
I've mentioned Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah. I don't know.
If she works as a blonde.
I don't know if she was good. I feel like she was all right.
I feel like
She's somewhere, like she's not New Girl level. She's not Almost Famous level. But she's okay.
You know what I feel like? No one in this movie is given a chance
Yeah.
because of Will Ferrell.
Also, I was a bit confused why she was showering at the store, and then I thought that was the night, but then it was the morning apparently.
Yeah, then she said, they cut off my water.
I'm like, okay. But I still, then it felt like hours later that
Yeah.
she was back at the store. It was just a bit strange to me.
That is, wouldn't it be funny if he doesn't understand the privacy humans want?
Yes, and then sings the worst Christmas song ever.
Then we write a scene in accordingly.
Yeah.
And we just like jam it in there.
He's a HR nightmare.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This happens in her career relatively early on.
Yeah.
In 2002, she's in an episode of Frasier. 2000, she's in Almost Famous. Mm-hmm. In 1998, she's in an episode of Veronica's Closet.
She actually wasn't really that good in Almost Famous.
And then she's in Elf. And then where I first knew of her is as Trillian in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay, great.
And then she
And then
kind of
New Girl
goes
happened.
bit by bit up from that. And
then
yeah,
she was Bones' sister.
New Girl.
Then
is
she
already
looks like
Bones'
Katy
sister.
Perry.
Yeah. 2011 New Girl started. So that's really her. I think the story is very cliche in terms of a Christmas story, but that's okay. When people watch Christmas stories, we want those cliches and tropes.
Yes.
But the making it a vehicle for Robin Williams overrides any depth of that story.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. What did I say?
Robin Williams.
Oh, I was thinking about Robin Williams because I'd rather have watched Robin Williams play Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not tall, even though Robin Williams is taller than an elf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got the tropes in there. Something's
just
wrong.
all right,
Someone's
like-
on the naughty list. There's the cliche of Christmas spirit being low. There's the cliche of family things
People not
being
thinking Santa's
disconnected.
real.
People don't think Santa's real. A snowball fight has to happen.
With ridiculous sound effects.
Um,
Bob
and-
Newhart's kind of funny. But I feel like it was almost a bit too opposite energies. His humour is just very dry,
Yep.
monotone.
Yep.
And then you have Will Ferrell acting like a fucking maniac. And it's just too different for me.
Yeah. It's certainly not Bob Newhart in The Rescuers.
I also thought Ed Asner as Santa was pretty bad.
I couldn't even tell you who Ed Asner is.
He's the voice of the old dude in Up.
Oh, that guy. Who's also in other things.
He's in a lot. He's an old dude. He's
Mary
dead now.
Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah, he's an old. He was like the studio boss.
He's
I
a grumpy
believe.
old man.
He's a grumpy old man.
Well, I think the joke they were going for is that a grumpy old man is asking people to be happier about Christmas.
Yeah, but if I'm a 14-year-old child, I don't know who the fuck Ed Asner is.
This is not targeted at 14-year-old children.
Really?
No.
It's PG.
It's targeted as, I'm going to offend some people, right? It's targeted at 30-year-old men with the maturity of with the comedic maturity of a 14-year-old child.
Okay, cool.
Okay? Am I wrong about Will Ferrell in that sense?
No,
No. It's
but it's not fun. It's not funny.
Will Ferrell is
Like I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell. Everybody knows that.
yeah.
But Anchorman, Talladega Nights are funny. Even
Fun-
Blades of Glory.
The funniest bits though in Talladega Nights are the kids, not Will Ferrell.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Okay.
that comes back to what I was saying before: is Zooey Deschanel, good actress,
Yeah.
Bob Newhart, good actor,
Yep.
Ed Asner, even that guy that plays the
Mary
security guard,
Steenburgen. Yep.
Mary Steenburgen and James Caan, all good actors.
Yep.
Peter Dinklage, good actor,
Oh my God, how bad was that?
but they are given no space. And Peter Dinklage is the perfect example because it is a one-dimensional, would now be cancelled
Yep.
joke.
I tried to look up. I googled it. I couldn't find anything. And I tried to Google. I googled. Is Peter Dinklage still happy with his role in Elf? And I couldn't really find anything because I feel like he wouldn't be.
Yeah. Peter Dinklage.
All I will
Comment,
say
Elf.
is that it was good that they had Peter Dinklage in that role.
Yes.
Then it was bad that all it was about was that he thought he was an elf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, there was, because you know what? Because I thought it was that, but it was, he cracked the shits about Snow White. That's what he did.
Yeah, it just...
It didn't, so that was one thing we'll change, but we'll get
Just
to
not
that
depth.
at the end.
Just not depth.
In terms of impact, though, it has
Yep.
it's fairly iconic. I walked through Kmart the other day. There's 47 T-shirts with fucking Will Ferrell's face on it.
Yep.
Memes, GIFs, whatever. Its budget was $33 million, and it made $220 million.
Yeah, it's a pretty big movie. Well, when you've only really got to pay one star,
Yeah,
it reduces your budget.
yeah. They had a 2010 Broadway musical, Elf the Musical.
Oh,
And in
God, that hasn't
2014,
lasted.
NBC did a animated stop-motion TV special about Elf. Buddy's Musical Christmas.
Based on the book from the within
I
the
assume
movie.
so. They were almost potentially maybe going to do a sequel, right? Jon Favreau was interested in it, and it was going to be called Elf 2 Buddy Saves Christmas. I'm like, didn't he already do that? But then Will Ferrell said he didn't want to do a sequel, and then they were like, we could still have it.
Nah.
But no. Apparently Will Ferrell and Jon Favreau did not get along.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what James Caan said, and I trust James Caan. He was shot to death in the 70s movie. So David Berenbaum, who wrote the movie, initially wrote it in 1993.
Oh, okay.
And in mind had Chris Farley or Jim Carrey.
Both would work.
Same shit, right?
But
it would have been a vehicle for Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Can I say something? I don't want this to offend people.
Yeah.
If it had been Chris Farley,
There would have been fat jokes.
10 minutes of fat jokes instead of 10 minutes of tall jokes.
Yep.
And the movie would now have to be cancelled.
Yes.
Yep.
If it was Chris Farley in the 90s, it probably might have been all right. This
Still would have been fat
sentence
jokes,
is
though.
weird, right?
Yep.
Due to his policy of appearing in family-friendly films, Chevy Chase was briefly considered for the role of Papa Elf by director Jon Favreau.
One of the famous assholes.
Right?
Apparently,
Due to his policy of appearing in family-friendly films. So he had a policy of only... I got confused.
Yeah.
Chevy. Anyway. Will Ferrell vetoed this idea because he disliked working with Chevy Chase when Chevy Chase returned to guest host Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah, they didn't get along. That is well known.
Will Ferrell said Chevy Chase was the worst host he worked with during his time in the show.
Ooh.
And the last bit, you could argue, it launched Will Ferrell's kind of movie career because it's first major role.
Yeah.
And it's his
I'm okay with that.
Jon Favreau's first kind of directy role as well.
That's true. Yeah.
And then it won some of those bullshit fucking popular awards, whatever. Do you want to talk now about things you change? Or do you want to do some awards?
I don't have much in the way of awards.
Yeah. Neither do I.
Okay.
I have a question.
Also, the top 5 I'm going to struggle with.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just feel like you last week, should have done more research. Okay.
I have a lot of worst extras.
The things to change.
I have a question. This is the
Yes.
second thing that I wrote.
Yep.
First was a Simpsons reference.
Yep.
It said, Bob Newhart, everybody.
Yes.
Second was, are all elves white?
Oh, good question. Are all elves of normal height, just stood further away from the camera, is my question.
Mm-hmm.
Wonka, the new movie with Timothée Chalamet,
Oh, Hugh Grant.
is getting beaten around the head and neck
Uh-huh.
for not casting little people
Uh-huh.
as Oompa Loompas, but instead shrinking down Hugh Grant.
Well, this
movie?
The live action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs starring, what's her face? From West Side Story?
Oh, yeah.
Natalie Wood? No, what's
Ariana?
her- No. The one that was Maria.
Yeah, her name's Ariana.
No, she was Anita. What's her fucking name? She was just in the Hunger Games. the
Rachel
new Hunger-
Zegler.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's getting a bit of thing because there was some pre-stills of it being like, what the fuck is this? These are not dwarves.
Yep. No. Would not fly these days.
Well, yeah.
And yes, there would. Well, there's one person of color that has lines, and it's the security guard / boss.
Yeah. Who was meant to originally be played by Wanda Sykes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I would have probably preferred that.
Yeah.
Although I did think he was funny, but he comes up later in one of the awards for me.
Okay. That
I would change a lot about it
I would
because
change
I'd have some, just, general...
humor.
Yeah, just some good writing.
I think the Peter Dinklage bit is okay.
I don't know.
Peter Dinklage agreed to do it.
I didn't. You know what? It's about the thing when, like, it's like what they say about doing a roast. You could be mean,
Yep.
and you might get away with it if you're funny.
Yep.
This wasn't funny. I didn't find it funny. So then I was like,
Yeah.
this is just bad.
The idea of the scene.
The idea was
is okay.
okay. And I knew as soon as I saw him, because
Yeah.
I didn't know Peter Dinklage was in it. And I saw as soon as I saw him. Wait, I shouldn't say that.
Okay.
No, as in like it was also bad the way he entered the room, in terms of you couldn't see him above the desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was like, when I saw it was Peter Dinklage, I was like, oh, he's going to think he's an elf. This is going to be bad.
Yeah.
You're an elf! Anyway, it was just shit.
That is certainly predictable.
Yeah. Awards.
Okay, let's go into worst extra first. What's it called? Andy Millman from Ricky Gervais's Extras.
Yep.
Worst extra award.
Yep.
My friend has started doing some extras work again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Has met Kate Winslet
he
yet?
said to me the other day, he goes, have you seen Ricky Gervais's Extras? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
He goes,
in my podcast, Shooting Cinema.
he goes, it's like that.
oh, shit. I need to be an extra.
He was on something the other day, and one of the guys he was there with
Confidential.
was like, oh, what have you guys been doing? I've done this. I had 4 gigs last week, and it was this, and it was this, and he's just like, oh my God, I'm just here to do something while my kid's at school.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, a background artist. I'm happy to just be an extra.
Yeah.
The Andy Millman Worst Extra Award, I am nominating the guy who doesn't react to him getting hit by a taxi.
Okay. I am nominating the guy who doesn't react when he's sitting next to him and he's getting his shoe polished, and then he even reaches over and touches him on the shoulder, and the guy just sits there and does nothing.
Yep. Okay.
I also wrote kid on Santa's lap. I feel bad doing it. A kid. I feel bad nominating a kid.
We're not going to give it to the kid.
Because he was like, you're the camera, right? No,
Yep.
the camera's here at where the camera is, right? I'm looking at the camera.
Yep.
And then I'm a kid. And then somebody asked me a question. Oh, how old are you? And then I have to look at you. And you give me, you're like off camera going, 4. You go, I'm 4. Fucking terrible.
Yep. Okay.
I feel like Jon Favreau didn't spend any time looking at extras or polishing any other things. I feel like they rushed through this thing.
I do feel like it wasn't it was a quick
The Jungle Book, that's what he did. The live action Jungle Book.
Will Ferrell.
No, Jon Favreau.
He also did the live action Lion King.
He was also in Friends.
Yeah, right. He's also in the Spider-Mans and all the Marvels. I'm also nominating the guy. So, Buddy gets kicked out, right, or thrown out of the building,
Yeah, Empire State Building, yeah.
and he bumps into a guy, right? And the guy's obviously meant to react, and the
Yeah.
extra does react. Mm-hmm. But he looks everywhere but at Will Ferrell.
He's like,
It's like when there's
it's like he's fucking Medusa. Don't look him in the eye.
Yeah, or it's like there's like a ghost. You know those ghost movies where ghosts accidentally bump into people and the person looks around like, what the fuck
like
bumped
something
into
just
me?
went through me, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like that.
Okay.
Will Ferrell bumps into this guy, and this guy looks everywhere but at Will Ferrell. I'm like, come on, mate. Surely John Favreau and Will Ferrell have allowed you to look at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Will Ferrell is one of those don't look me in the eye guys.
I also wrote worst extra. I wrote a baby. Can't really remember why.
Can't nominate a baby.
I know.
for worst extra.
The other thing I had was it was worst extra, but then I also didn't understand what the fuck was happening with this whole part of the movie. The news anchor, when he was like,
Yeah.
"Hey Charlotte, I don't know what it's like where you usually do news, but here in blah blah blah," and then it was like, who is this Charlotte newsreader woman?
Are we
Like,
meant
is
to
she-
know?
Yeah, I was like, are we meant to know who she is? Is she meant to be like somebody famous? Is she like fucking Geraldo Rivera or something? That's a very strange option for me.
Very niche.
You know what I mean?
For an Australian person.
Is it meant to be like some famous journalist that we know? Is it Al Roker? No, because that would be another person of colour. But, I was just so confused, and it was off-putting why they kept making fun of this Charlotte woman for the news she was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't. For me, I don't have any more nominations.
Okay.
For me, it's the guy that doesn't look at him.
I think, yeah, it's pretty bad.
You're actually in a scene, in a joke with Will Ferrell,
with Will Ferrell.
and you don't look at him.
Yeah.
That could be John's fault. My apologies if you are that extra and you're listening.
Yeah.
If you are, please tweet us and tell us it was John Favreau.
I feel like a lot of the stuff they were like, let's just do it in one take.
Yeah.
And they go, they're just like, Will, what did you think? That was great. Next.
Yeah. Will goes, yes. John goes, get me fucking away from him.
James
Next.
Caan and Mary Steenburgen are out the back smoking, going, I've got a fucking Oscar. Can you imagine what
Mary
the fuck is
Steenburgen's like, I'm fucking married to Ted Danson. What the
Mary
fuck am I doing
Steenburgen's like,
here?
I'm America's mother.
Yeah.
She's a mum.
Okay.
She's a mum in everything.
Except Back to the Future 3.
But she is
Where
by
she's
the
a
end.
school teacher.
But she's a mum by the end.
School teacher, same vibes.
She's a mum by the end.
Yeah, okay. The Estelle Reiner Best
She's a mum by
Extra
the end.
Award. I don't have anything specific, and I'm sure you do. Mm-hmm. I wrote this, right?
Yeah.
I think the extras in New York City wouldn't react to someone dressed up like that.
Yeah, because they probably just think it's a crazy
Because it's a
person.
fucking weird city.
Yeah.
And shit's going on all the time.
Also,
But also it's Christmas.
but when there's weird people walking around Melbourne,
You
I
avoid.
sometimes don't react because I avoid.
Yeah.
Because they're either going to yell at me or ask me for money, and I don't want to do either.
Unless, like you said the other day in 2 out of 3 recommend,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
good deed is to
Yeah.
offer them directions.
But he doesn't want directions. He wants smack.
Oh, not
Strange.
Will Ferrell.
Not Will. Well.
So that was my general
Smack.
good extras.
Okay.
Well done by the extras and John Favreau to not make them all react to him because I feel
Yeah.
like in New York that's realistic.
Yeah. I have a couple.
Yep.
So when it's like, he's too big to be an elf, and he's getting shoes fitted, and all the shoes are too small. The
Yeah.
elf fitting his shoe, I thought was kind of funny.
Yep.
And then I wrote Asian lady behind Buddy when he meets his dad in his office. Because he's like, I'm your son. And everybody else is just like standing there like nothing. And she's like, oh, she's actually reacting. So I'm actually thinking I put that in the wrong category.
Ooh.
And then she also got cast as Super Mario. So, woohoo! Yeah, so that's what I've got.
Okay. Let's give it to her. Because that'd be
she's
fun.
just like, everyone else is just like, this is a normal day in the office, when they thought it was like a Christmas Graham thing.
Yeah.
And nobody else looks happy. She looked happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asian lady behind Will Ferrell when he first meets his dad.
Yeah.
Also, that's point for another bit of ethnic diversity.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything.
Doesn't matter.
Also, Bechdel test, failure.
Failure, yeah. No women talk to each other.
Mary Steenburgen and Zooey Deschanel sing with each other. Does that count?
No, it's about a man.
It's about Santa.
It's about a man.
True.
Okay, the...
Most iconic scene.
No,
I'm
the
your
Ben
father.
Stiller most cryingest moment. No.
Oh, no, nobody cried. I skipped a whole fucking category.
You would think I would cry it's a happy ending, but it's not happy because there's no story development about the issue of the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
If you had given me actual concern about Christmas failing,
If there was some
I would
sort
be
of
happy.
downward spiral of the earth, you know what I mean?
yeah, if shit got fucked, I would have been happy at the end.
Like in that Simpsons the Family Guy Christmas episode,
Yep.
where Santa's like, the elves all inbreed with each other, and he does a song about it, and it's like, Christmas is killing us, and then they try and save Christmas, and then Christmas is fine at the end. That's got more story depth in a 20-minute
Yeah.
fucking episode.
This has very little emotional variance, which is not going to make me cry.
Christmas time is killing us. Very good song.
The Halle Berry X-Men worst line.
Maybe next year you'll have a home.
Yeah, that was odd.
Or maybe by next Christmas you'll have a home. Fuck you, none.
What about this? Can also go in things you'd change. Your eyes tell the story and you've got a great mouth.
Oh,
That random guy at Central Park.
weird.
Weirdo.
I wrote 6-inch ribbon curls, honey.
Oh. What about
only because he says honey.
6 inches? Them going on about the heavy-handed tactics of the Central Park Rangers. That's
That
unnecessary.
made no sense to me at all.
That is like
What the fuck was that? Sorry.
when they just like fucking throw some extra knights into a scene in Monty Python and the Holy
Yeah,
Grail.
yeah.
But this is not a Monty Python style movie.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to
Made
me.
no sense.
The last one I had was the worst line is Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Why?
Because Mary Steenburgen. So Buddy and Child. Buddy runs away.
Michael
Michael and Dad
are concerned all of a sudden.
run away. Go,
Yep.
fuck you, I quit. I've got to go save my
Yep.
son.
Yep.
Um,
His job's shit anyway. He hasn't
Yep.
had a hit book in ages.
yeah, exactly. He runs away through Central Park. They find him and Santa, and then they come out to the crowd.
Yep.
James Caan and Michael.
Yep.
And then Mary Steenburgen, obviously concerned,
Yeah.
Just
Her
rocks
fucking
up-
son and husband have gone
rocks
missing.
up, sees them, goes, Merry Christmas.
Not
That's all she says.
Not what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, well, it's Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah,
so
I
she
know,
can't
but, like,
swear. She's
okay.
not allowed to swear.
I can because I've had most of this cocktail.
So I was just like, is that's all you're going to say? Just goes, Merry Christmas.
That needs too much exclamation.
Okay. So is it 6-inch ribbon curls, honey?
Or is it your eyes tell the story and you've got a great
that's
mouth?
Actually, yeah, okay. That's
Oh.
good. Because that's terrible.
That could be followed by a oh.
My candy cane's in the
Oh, now your
drink.
candy cane's going to be alcoholic. Most iconic scene? Is it him walking with Michael in Central Park early on?
No, it's when he's in the store with the guy and it's like Santa's coming. He's like, Santa! Because that's the meme.
That's the meme. Okay.
Or
Yep.
I wrote the scene in the school at the start where he's big and everybody else is small. Because that looks good.
Or is it him sitting on the little... Oh, that's... Yeah, I was thinking there's a moment of him sitting where he's tall.
Yeah.
And I thought, is it the toilet? But it's him in the classroom.
Yeah. But it's the Santa scene.
Is that a... That's a bit of Billy Madison, him in the school.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is that what we're thinking is iconic? Because if Billy Madison, iconic scene...
That's probably more
so
iconic.
it's Santa's coming. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are awards, and they're the summary of Elf. It leans into the tropes, and it has the right structure for me as a story.
Yeah.
But the attempt at message gets lost in the extra time we're given to Will Ferrell jokes.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And your main impact is memes.
Yeah, it's memes in Christmas T-shirts.
It's making him money.
Yeah.
All right, because we are reviewing Elf for Two Drink Cinema, we needed a top 5. Because we're not fans of Will Ferrell, we're not doing top 5 Will Ferrell movies.
Because I could name 3.
Well...
Well, and 2, actually, I could name 5, but 2 of them would be Austin Powers 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. I could name 5, but 2 of them are Anchorman 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So instead, we're doing... we've got to clarify rules on it.
Okay.
We're doing top 5 actors that got their start on SNL.
That then went on to do movies.
That are big in movies.
Yeah.
Just movies, not TV. Sorry, Tina Fey.
Just movies because we're a movie podcast.
Okay, all right.
She's been in a movie or 2.
A movie or 2, but she's not a movie star.
Okay.
She's a sitcom star, Tina
Okay.
Fey. Okay.
Do we
Does
have
that
any...
fuck your list up?
No. Do we have any qualifications of how long they needed to be on SNL? That might change my list.
I am taking it as got their start on.
So the first thing they
got
did
their break
was
on.
they did a season on SNL.
Could be. But that's where they came to prominence. Do you know what I mean?
To prominence.
Well, no, like got their break on SNL. They'd been doing stand-up for a bit,
Yeah.
and then they got on SNL, and then that
right.
got them a movie role.
I'm going to keep my 5, and I'll mention that one I was just talking about in my honourable mentions.
Okay.
I have 6 honourable mentions.
I have 2 honourable mentions.
2 are giving honourable mentions because of TV and not movies, though.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm saying if we were allowing TV, they would have honourable mentions. They would be in my top 5.
All right, I'm going to add
go.
another honourable mention
Yeah.
of potential, if we do this again in a few years,
Okay.
could replace someone on the list. Actually, probably not. My top 4 are big.
Yep.
My number 5 is Kristen Wiig.
My number 5 is Kristen Wiig.
She is great. She's probably not as big as the other 4, but she is hilarious. And I
think
haven't
she's-
seen
yep.
a thing she's done that I haven't enjoyed. Even when she was a spoiler alert bad in Wonder Woman, she was great.
She's very good. She's done great. She'll do more.
She will do more.
Yep.
My number 4,
Uh-huh.
this is bigness from here on out.
So
Okay.
am mine.
Number 4, Bill Murray.
My number 4 is Bill Murray. We could have the same top 5. Oh
I reckon
my
we've got
God.
the same top 5. I reckon that 3 might move around.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Bill Murray,
Huge.
not a huge fan,
Terrible.
but
Huge career.
huge career.
Plenty of movies, even if they are outdated and need to be changed. Oscar nominee, Bill Murray.
I looked him up, how he got his start, right?
Yeah.
Murray, this is from Britannica.com. Murray, one of 8 children, began his acting career on the National Lampoon radio era in 1975, alongside fellow comedians John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Yep. All right.
From 1977 to 80, Murray performed on NBC's Saturday Night Live sketch comedy show, Here's the Bit, on which he popularised a seedy, shifty comedic persona.
Oh, well, and then what did he do? Play it in movies.
Yes, as a comedic, shifty persona.
Yeah.
My number 3, Mike Myers.
Oh, okay. You're going to be surprised that Mike Myers isn't in my top 5.
Oh, okay.
Will Ferrell is my number 3.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's done a lot of movies.
He has. I probably, as the kids say, slept on Will Ferrell in this list, even though we've just talked about him for 45
there's one
minutes.
in here I might have slept on. That's fine.
Was it Mike
Will
Myers?
Ferrell, even though I'm not a huge fan, I can acknowledge that he has had a big movie career.
I just added him to my honourable mentions. My number 2 is Adam Sandler.
My number 2 is Adam Sandler. This is ridiculous.
He is comedy
Huge.
movie huge.
Yeah.
Like, no one else has signed a 10-movie deal with Netflix. They're shit
Yeah.
movies, but Netflix
Yeah, terrible, but-
gave him enough money to make 10 movies.
Yeah.
He's at the point where he's making Nepo baby movies. He's putting his children in his own movies because he has that power as a star and as a producer.
But also, he's been big in movies for like 30 years now.
yeah.
Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. That Uncut Gems apparently was good.
Billy Madison, 1995.
Yeah.
And Happy Gilmore, 1996.
Yeah.
So we think like 90s, but he's still going.
Some of his movies probably should be cancelled as well, but
Possibly.
maybe there's some we'll do in the future.
We say our number one together.
What if it's different?
It's Eddie Murphy.
It's Eddie Murphy.
He has the longevity of comedic career, but he's also exercised some dramatic chops and has awards for it.
Yeah, like I think he's got a range.
Yeah.
Like he can be stupid.
Yep.
Shrek. Then he does Dreamgirls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then he does
range.
Haunted Mansion.
Talent. Ugh. Yeah.
So
Oh, we didn't do our honourable mentions before number one.
we got too excited that this is the closest.
We have the same list with an outlier of Will Ferrell.
Well, and like Will Ferrell and Mike Myers.
Mike Myers is teetering around my top 5.
Okay, so there's
Then he did The Love Guru, and it.
So Eddie Murphy, like length of career from stand up, Eddie Murphy Raw, like Delirious was 1983.
Yeah.
And Beverly Hills Cop 1987. And then we've got Nutty Professor, 2 more Beverly Hills Cop movies,
Yeah.
Shrek, Haunted Mansion, like I mentioned, more Beverly Hills Cop, The Nutty
Shrek.
Professor,
Yeah.
Norbit, Shrek, Coming to America, I've said, Daddy Daycare. Like Daddy Daycare's not a terrible movie.
It's actually not bad.
No.
I remember seeing that in the cinema.
And there's going to be a
New one.
reboot of Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
So there's that to look forward to.
All right. Can I say should we say some honourable mentions?
I'm going to say a couple of honourable mentions. One of my honourable mentions is Chevy Chase.
No, didn't make that list.
He was big of the time, but he's an arsehole. Another of my honourable mentions...
Man of the House.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that the one with Farrah Fawcett?
One of my other
Where
mentions
he
was
plays like the new boyfriend?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, honourable mention.
Didn't make my top 5 because really he started on Second City.
And really, he
Went Second City, then SNL.
Yeah, he hasn't had a bigger movie career as the other ones we mentioned.
If you compare him directly to Bill Murray...
Especially when he's then done a movie based off an SNL sketch, it kind of takes it down a bit for me.
Yeah, okay. So, is that why Mike Myers isn't in it for the 2 Wayne's Worlds?
Sure.
My 4th, now that I've added Will Ferrell,
Yeah.
honourable mention is a bit of future-proofing.
Uh-huh.
Kate McKinnon. Because she is just, I feel, hitting her stride now in terms of big screen stuff.
Yeah, mine are Dan Aykroyd, Mike Myers, with Kate McKinnon,
Yep.
Amy Poehler.
Yeah, I think of
She
her
has
more sitcom stuff.
More sitcom-y.
Yep.
Do you know who did a season of SNL in the 80s? Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not counting it because that's not...
No.
Yeah. Then I had 2 honourable mentions for people that started on SNL and were big in TV.
Yeah.
Tina Fey
Tina Fey, yes.
and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah. One other one that I really like...
Dana Carvey.
Yeah, Dana Carvey. No, I've forgotten her name. She's in Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, Jane Curtin.
Jane Curtin. She's
Wow.
very good. She's
Where did I
not.
pull that from?
She's not huge.
Yeah.
but I like her a lot.
Also, I really like Maya Rudolph.
Yep, good place. Just because I needed to.
Good place.
John Belushi
mouth.
would have been there if he didn't die.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Chris Farley, the same.
Yep, probably. All right, so that's the top 5 movie stars. Shall we phrase it?
Movie stars. Yep.
who got their start on SNL.
Yep, cool.
Okay.
I can't believe we were that similar. I wonder if one day we'll ever get a same top 5.
5 from 5.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be next week.
Next week on Two Drink Cinema, we are reviewing Scrooged.
Yeah.
Look,
I don't know.
honestly,
We'll see. I've never seen it. We'll see.
Honestly, this is just on the list because it has,
It has
an anniversary.
and we were struggling with guys. We were peek behind the curtain. We were struggling with this here.
35 years since Bill Murray released Scrooged. which
Yes.
is the Bill Murray version of A Christmas Carol, in case you didn't work that out.
What is that? You know that is it Chevy Chase that's even in it? Now I have to say this on air because it's fucked me up.
Okay.
You know, and we watched it a lot as a kid, and he's a Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and then so Jonathan Taylor Thomas's mum is Farrah Fawcett, and then
Yep.
she has a new boyfriend who is Chevy Chase.
Yep.
And then they go to their like beach house.
And then their friend, Chet Bronsky, is George Wendt.
George went, and then they go to that like father-son bonding thing of something that probably be cancelled.
They go to like a camp, like a scouting camp thing.
And they have headbands with feathers on them.
Yeah.
And they dance to that song.
And he says, how?
Yeah.
He says, how, hey, how are you?
Oh my
Something like
God.
that.
It's like not getting it. Man of the house.
No, hang on. Yeah, right. After meeting a boy named Norman Bronsky at school, Ben feigns interest in joining the Indian Guides, a YMCA father-son program.
It's Man of
with
the house.
Jack to secretly drive a wedge between them and get rid of him.
A young boy refuses to accept his mother's new boyfriend, a lawyer, despite the man's attempts to win his respect. Meanwhile, disgruntled relative of a criminal he persecuted seek revenge. That's IMDb.
Oh, God, that's...
Man of the house. Yes, and there's him in the thing. Yes, and it was like Farrah Fawcett, but I didn't know who that was at the time.
Oh, and it's got Art LaFleur in it.
Art LaFleur.
Yeah. All right, and Zachary Brown and Christopher Miranda, who...
Oh, remember Jungle to Jungle? Sorry.
All right, let's pause our nostalgia trip, because next week we are watching Scrooged.
Which has zero nostalgia.
Bill Murray. It has zero nostalgia, but it has a 35th anniversary. You can watch Scrooged on...
Binge.
What can you watch
Stan.
it on?
No, Binge. I watched it on Binge.
You can, in Australia, watch it on Binge or Stan.
Yeah.
Or Foxtel now.
Because...
Or you can rent in the usual places.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. I hope you enjoyed us slamming Will Ferrell.
We are not going to make friends this episode.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Two Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast, either leave a tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review, and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.